Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Welcome everyone. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي واجعل لي وزيرا من أهلي هارون أخي اشدد به أزري ويشرك في أمري كي نسبحك كثيرا ونذكرك كثيرا إنك كنت بنا بصيرا وصل اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه وسلم. ربنا اغفر لنا وارحمنا وأنت خير الراحمين. آمين والحمد لله رب العالمين. آمين. And are you here and do you hear me? Okay. Hey, Anne.
Okay.
Yeah. So, okay, we have started. You can introduce today's subject, maybe summarizing the last week's discussion.
Yes, I can do that.
Thank you.
So we last week we looked at only the first window, but before we got into the first window, we talked about something very important, which has to do with how freedom or free will is a mercy. So my notes focus on that particular aspect, and you talked in great length, and so I tried to condense that. First of all, it's important to understand that we have this question we need to ask: can things change by themselves? And I have the free will to decide whether things can change by themselves. If I look at the universe, I can see that the interconnectedness of the particles tell me that actually things cannot change by themselves, because particles are continually changing and operating perfectly. How is this possible unless there is a creator? So what does this have to do with free will being a mercy? Is that thankfully, through my free will, I reject the meaningless existence. Therefore, that is the value of my free will. I can see that my life is not a dead end, and how merciful is this? If I betray this, it's my loss. I've rejected the mercy of my creator and turned it into a tool of torture, but it's my choice. The denier says my life has no meaning. It's an accident. I'm going to die. So just let me keep myself busy on a daily basis and enjoy life. I am in an endless cycle of entertainment, which is gone, then new entertainment, which is gone, and so on. God warns this person, this unbeliever, that what he's doing is meaningless. But again, it's his choice. So all the problems of humans start with this point that change is unstoppable. The natural forces are, in fact, manifestations of the qualities of our Creator.
Excellent.
And then I have one more quote I really liked, and then I'll finish.
Yes.
The quote is, if those particles are not employees under the one who knows all the states and conditions of everything, that's one choice. Or the opposite is, it becomes necessary to accept gods to the number of particles of Earth. So those are the two choices that are before us, and we have the freedom to accept, to choose through God's mercy.
Yeah, we are free to choose one of them, but of course the evidence is out there. But we can deny or we can confirm the evidence. But by comparison, by comparing with two sides of the alternatives, we can decide which one is right and which one is wrong. Because right and wrong is clearly distinguished from each other. They are completely distinct from each other. So there is no way that we can confuse. Depending on my intention, I can interpret this way or another way. If I am self-centric and feeling that I am self-sufficient, I will say, okay, I'm not going to submit my existence to a creator, so I will declare my independence in my existence. So I look at the universe and take this option, although there is no evidence in the existence of the universe. But interpretation, making up excuses are always possible for me. But of course, it doesn't satisfy my human capacity. But I'm free to reject my reality. We have to be very careful with this very precious free will. Very precious, but a source of responsibility, really, in fact. Yeah, I think if you don't have any more to share with us, then we can start reading today's section.
Yes, if you don't mind, there's a very short sentence that precedes this. It kind of is an introduction. I wanted to say it again, just this very, very short, just as every particle. That sentence is an introduction to, even though I read it last week, it really goes with the following. So I want to read it again and then continue. Just as every particle testifies in two ways to his being the necessarily existent one of unity, so too on every living being are two signs that he is the single and eternally besought one. Yes, on all living beings are a seal of divine oneness and a stamp of his eternal self-existence. For each displays together in the mirror of its most divine, for each displays together in the mirror of its being most of the divine names, the manifestations of which are apparent in the universe. Quite simply, like a point of focus, each displays the manifestation of the greatest name of ever-living and self-subsistent one. Thus, it shows a sort of shadow of the oneness of the divine essence under the veil of the name of giver of life. It bears a stamp of divine oneness. And since the living being is like a miniature sample of the universe and a fruit of the tree of creation, it shows a seal of divine eternal self-existence, which conveys altogether with ease to the tiny spheres of its life its needs, which are as many as the universe. That is to say, this shows it has a sustainer whose care and favor take the place of all things. Everything in existence cannot take the place of his care.
Yeah, I think this sentence is an example. It is easier to understand the whole paragraph. Living being, says the living being is like a miniature sample of the universe. This shows that whoever created this living being as a miniature sample of the whole universe must be the creator of the universe, because this being, especially the example of a human being, we can see that we are in connection with the rest of the universe, and our capacity is arranged according to the capacity of the qualities manifested in the universe, so I can communicate with it. Otherwise, for example, the maker of a computer or maker of a TV or telephone is better example nowadays, practical. The designer, the maker of the telephone designs it knowing that the telephone is going to be communicating with other recipients or callers through interacting through the satellite connection by using certain wavelengths, electrical power, etc. All this information this person must know and design and make the telephone accordingly. If he didn't know the others, he wouldn't make it. It's the human example. But when we come to the universe, we don't see like a human being specializes in one subject and just uses, for example, the satellite, which he may not know really how to make a satellite. But in the creation of the universe is not like human actions. Satellite is created, wavelengths are created, the power of the electrical power is created, and the telephone is created at the same time, because the universe is subject to a continuously coming into existence. And we are seeing that the one who creates the human being with his all human qualities, bodily qualities, and also spiritual qualities, which means the intellect, consciousness, senses, immense, infinite number of senses, they are all communicating with the creation of other things as well. So the one who created me right now must be the one who is creating the rest of the universe and putting me in connection with them. So it shows this reality that we are experiencing in our existence demonstrates that my maker must be the maker of the universe, and the maker of the universe can only be a one, because the universe has its own unity within itself. Each parts of the universe perfectly functions, each of them in its location, and the way they are coming into existence, they are brought into existence, demonstrates this evidently for anyone, to the eyes and mind of anyone who is not conditioned himself that I'm not going to see that or accept this. This is one side of it. It means unity side of it, because as you like this paragraph and wanted to reread again today, his being the necessarily existent one of unity. It means absolute being, perfect absolute being, whoever is the creator of the universe. In this sense, we see that those people who claim that there is no need for the explanation of the universe because we can study the things. What they do, they study human body. And they don't take notice that this human body and the sun is sunlight, for example, air molecule, the other things are perfectly arranged. What they say, it happened to be in this way. As if my cells, the cells of my body, knows how to communicate with of them so that it will choose a path which will match the environment. How much? Universe-wide relationship. But I know my cells are made up of dead, mindless matter. They don't have any clarity. But the way they are made demonstrates that their maker is the source of their existence. Because the telephone demonstrates that all its qualities witnesses or witness that its engineer has arranged it in this way. Or otherwise, the parts cannot choose. They don't have any power. They are like exactly the particles of the elements, particles of this universe. They have no choice. That is one side of it. The other one is he is single and eternally besought one. This is a little bit strange language. I mean, I don't think anyone in speaking English will use this language in his life, eternally besought one. But there is no other way. Here is really again. What was the sentence here? In Rose, I lost it. Divine oneness and okay, let's talk about it. Single and eternally besought one. Although we touched upon it last week, it means the way the things are coming into existence demonstrates that the one who creates them doesn't need anything else to help him or to be a means, tool in his hand, in his creative hand. He creates the tool, he creates the result of the action. Because we cannot imagine in the example, seeing the example of it in this world. Because we know that human beings are, as far as we know, the cleverest, more qualified creature than the others, as far as we can see. And we are using tools, we are in need of somebody's help, etc. But the way the universe demonstrates that its creator is not really in need of anything. He creates the whole universe at once, not one by one, as I do it. I take this one and then another action, and complete it. But universe is always complete within itself. So he doesn't need anything else. So if he doesn't need anything else, he doesn't need any other thing to qualify him in this way. It means He is eternally besought. It means he doesn't need anything else to create. And also, he is not in need of education, training, help of somebody as well. Yes, Anne.
I actually had a question about this word besought because actually I looked it up because I wasn't entirely sure what it meant. I knew it had something to do with beseech, and beseech is a synonym for to beg or to ask, to entreat, to ask, to call, like for help. So I don't, in this context, I'm not sure I understand the dictionary definition of besought, which is to entreat, to ask, to call for help, seems a little bit different than the one that um, being discussed in the text.
Now, it is so strange that I don't know who used this expression before, then it became a fashion to translate the Quranic word summit. It's very famous, Qul huwallahu ahad, Allahu as-samad. Ahad as-samad. Two qualities of God introduced in the Quran. This is samad. But as far as I know, this is a made-up word, not
Hmm.
from beseech, but from to seek and sought and besought. So everything is seeking his
Oh,
act of
I
creation.
see.
So I am in need of him to exist. So
Okay,
he
makes
is
sense.
my besought one.
So that makes sense.
So, I mean, as I guess, I'm not a native English speaker, as I guess that I don't think anyone will understand this.
No, actually, even I didn't understand it, and as you know, I'm a native speaker, and nobody uses this word.
Let's talk. I agree. That's why I don't blame anyone. I wouldn't say that, look, I know, but as a native speaker, you don't know. I know
No,
it is not the word which is used in the classical translations. I think of course, the Quran was translated. I don't know, 500. I think maybe 600 years ago into English. As far
mm,
as I remember, there was a person, I don't remember the name. He said he translated the Quran. And I really loved his title he put on his translations, very famous. He said, your God and our God is the same God. It means uniting the Christian and Muslim understanding of God. We believe in the same God. It means really not a competition, but supporting each other. It was a positive, peaceful way of asking for unification of two followers of the groups of the people who followed uh, divine revelation. It means the people of book or the people who believe in God. Something, I don't, the Victor something, I'm not sure. I mean, if somebody wants, they can ask AI, it knows it. So the first English translation of the Quran, but in a second, the answer comes. Now, this is eternal Sotman. It means, yes, I am created and located in the universe in such a way that only the creator of the universe can be my creator as I am now. This is ahad, absoluteness of God. The other aspect of my creation teaches me that, look, if when I understand I have a creator, but this creator is such a creator that he doesn't need anything. Yes, he put me in connection with the sun, but not because he needed the sun, the air to create me. No, we are all together. The sun, the air, molecules of the air, atmosphere, everything else employed in my creation as parts of my existence, and also my spiritual side, the existence of my spiritual side. He creates them at once altogether. He is not in need of any of these uh, other things in order to create me. Although in my existence I can see elements, but he is not like a mason who makes the building with bricks. So the mason is in need of bricks to make the wall or the building. But the if you like, in quote unquote, the mason of the universe is creating the brick and the house at the same time. In a miniature way, in another way, in another way, we see that as if the house is from the very beginning perfect, but getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger so that I can see the details. As if. But we know that at every stage of human existence is perfect, but in a smaller size, miniature size. A miniature example of the universe is also created in an orderly manner, so that orderly creation takes place as if the act of creation is using the elements and following a gradual creation. There is no gradual creation becoming perfect. Perfection is, in my understanding, by comparison, as a fetus, a baby in the mother's womb. In its existence as a fetus is perfect. And let's say as a baby is perfect as well. Nothing is missing, but it is not observable for me as I compare it with this baby in his or her age at 20 years of age. I say the baby is growing. I should say and understand that baby is being created in such an orderly manner that it teaches me as an observer of the creation of the baby, and in the course of time, according to me, I see that the one who creates it is not an accidental creation. It is a perfect demonstration that I know what I am doing. This is necessary. I think this point is important to keep in mind. This is necessary for me to understand that although the creation is perfect, but I have to see it is orderly creation, wisely creation, mercifully creation, so that I will understand I am limited and observing only at one slice of creation at once. I don't know the past, I don't know the future, but I am just seeing it, and the universe is not static. It means there is no limit to the power, the qualities of the creator, that it creates a static universe, like the engineer of a telephone. It makes one model of the telephone, and that's it. That's it. It doesn't make it a small one and big one, big one, big one, big one, big one at once. A human being, what he has to do, every model is a one step updated or improved model needs a special design. Exactly, the universe also tells me that it continuously renewed in its existence. That means that every moment is a special design of its creator, perfectly and in an orderly manner, manifesting that he is an absolute being in need of no one, but every being at each stage of its existence needs this absolute being, that is Samet. This absolute being, Ahad, and everything needs of it in order to explain or come into existence. So for me, if I want to explain the existence of a being in the world now, I have to say this one is created within the context of the universe in such a way that the creator doesn't need any part, because he is creating the parts as well at the same time. That is a very interesting point, and we may miss it, but it needs reflections on this topic. It needs really deliberate reflection. What is going on exactly in this world?
Father Murmur, can you say again what each stage needs? You just said it a moment ago and I missed it.
That's what we see at the moment. The universe, everything at one moment.
Okay.
But I know that this moment, I can see this moment that it is continuously renewed. But not every beat separately renewed. All the universe is renewed at every moment. I can see it. But this is my limitation, that I can see only one slide at a time. But this slide is continuously renewed. I don't know whether I shared this example with you. You know, sitting in front of a river, let's say that you don't know when the river is coming from, and you don't see where the river is going. You see only one slide of the river. What you see, you don't see that sometimes there is water, sometimes there is no water. No, you see always water. But if you pay attention to it, you see that the water is continuously changing. You don't see the same water in two instances. The universe is like this. Everything in it is changing. It is not only universe is in general changing. No, everything in it is changing at every moment. Which kind of power is manifesting? You have to say absolute. I don't know the essence of it, but it is an absolute creator. I mean, we don't really appreciate the universe as it is, usually, not everyone, but, I don't. But this nowadays, or, you know, this is the age, people take one piece at one moment and think that it is static in its existence. They say I'm studying atom, but atom is continuously renewed in its existence. Can it renew itself? They take it as if a static being and study it as a static being isolated from the rest of the universe. But an atom exists in its position with its qualities within the context of the universe. You cannot isolate it. You cannot study the cell saying that the cell is doing this. No, no. Without gravity, it cannot. Without sunlight, it cannot. Without nourishment, it cannot. Without light, light and life, both, it cannot. So, in order to make the cell at one moment, you have to make all the elements there. And in other moment, it suddenly changes. Again, this physicists discovered this. They say quantum mechanics, they name it in this, everybody knows it. So they say, we don't really see a fixed universe, fixed particle. They continuously as if appears and disappears, appears and disappears. What does it mean? Not disappears. Remember the river example? When I see always water. Nothing disappears. But in its existence, water is renewed. In new water. Every moment, new water molecules I see. Every moment, new water molecules I see. That is why they make the experiment and say that this molecules are disappearing. They make some sort of their specialty to make this. And they say, if you look at it, you cannot really see them. If you don't look at it, you know that they exist. I mean, this is just messing up the reality. Continuous renovation of the existence of the universe, and every part of it is also continuously renewed. That is why we cannot describe the creator. We just say absolute being must exist. They don't say, but I'm sure they will confess this. They will confess because they don't think that they don't accept that they are given existence. The main reason that we should never forget why they don't see that these quantum particles, they don't see that they are created because they don't want to see themselves as in need of being created. This is ego-centered interpretation of the universe. I exist by myself. And then you have to say everything exists by themselves. That is the nowadays the main tricky language the scientists are using. The universe is amazing. The universe has no gap, no crack, no exemption, nothing at all. But every being declares that his creator is an absolute and he is in need of nothing. He must be a perfect, absolute being. Okay, I think it's a long talk. I'm sorry again. This is an interesting point. Okay. If you have anything to share, go ahead. Otherwise, we can read.
Okay. Furthermore, this situation shows that its sustainer is in need of nothing.
Yeah.
Nor does anything diminish his treasury, and nor is anything at all difficult for his power. This then is a sort of seal of eternal, self-existent one. Thus, on every living being are a seal of divine oneness and stamp of his eternal existence. Yes, through the tongue of its life, every living being recites, say he is God, the absolute one, the self-existent.
Yeah. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد. In the
In
language.
addition to these two seals are several more important windows. But since they have been explained in detail in other places, our discussion here has been brief. Seeing that each particle in existence at once opens up three windows and two openings onto the unity of the necessarily existent, and life too opens two doors, you can compare how all the levels of beings, from particles to the sun, spread the light of knowledge of the all-glorious one. Thus, you can understand from this the degrees of progress in knowledge of God and the levels of awareness of his presence.
This is excellent. The method is excellent. This, to me, I love it. He doesn't say we have to believe in God because my religion requires it, or no. He speaks with a strong evidence of the creation and confirms the message of God sent through the prophets. Confirmation of belief, not imitation of religious culture. I love this because it gives really certainty in my heart, in my mind. And I say, definitely the universe and myself definitely need an absolute creator, self-existent, not being in need of anything else to have or to receive help. Everything is created by him. So it is excellent methodology. It is excellent. Much. Okay.
Fifth flash. If a book is handwritten and in the form of a letter, a single pen is sufficient to write it. While if it is printed, pieces of print are necessary to the number of the book's letters so that it can be printed and come into existence. If most of the book is written in an extremely fine script, with some of its letters, like Surah Yasin, being written with the letters Ya and Sin, then for it to be printed, all the small pieces of print are necessary for those single letters.
This is an old technique.
I actually don't understand this.
Yeah, old technique. We cannot understand this. Very, very early stages of these printing machines, they used to use, for example, let's say they wanted to write fifth flush. They have F, I, another F, T, H, F, L, H, continue. Singly put them in a um, what do you say? in a
In a press?
framed thing,
Oh, it's the printing.
mold, mold-like, mold-like. So
Hmm.
each letter must be made separately and put there. F. Get the F and put there and make all the page in a tablet, let's say, and put this one now, and of course that ink is always renewed, it's a technique, and put on the paper and the page is written there. So in this technique, you need to make each letter separately. Is it understood?
Yes, I understand.
Must be made separately and put there. Now, if we take this example up to this point, if we look at the universe, you look at the universe is written like this. It means fifth flush. But each letter is not really needs a special person or a person who made it. So it is written, all the book is written by one pen. But this is really, as you said, you don't understand. I don't really blame anyone. So it is very difficult, this old-fashioned. So, for example, this Yasin, but it says, the universe is not created like this.
Oh.
As if each letter, in and of itself, Ya and Sin, that's Arabic letters. I mean, Ya, let's say in English, Y and S. Now, Ya, the Arabic Ya, or in English, Y, or S is better. Y seems to be the question mark. So, S. In order to, when we look at the S, in S, all the information of the book is written. Not only S, as the printing machine does. In S, it is, let's imagine that it's a thick letter. You see that S is written not as a letter, but all the information in the book is finely written in it in the shape of an S. Does it make sense?
I put something in the chat that helped me anyway. That old-fashioned way was called typeset. Each letter has to be placed individually in the frame of the page.
Yeah.
And what you're saying is that that's not the case here.
Because each letter in its being includes the whole information of the book. Of course, letter represents a creature, let's say human being. Each human being in its existence includes the qualities of the creator of the whole universe, and it is only one single existence. So you cannot say that somebody made, let's come here, F and I separately as one letter, another F separately again. There must be two F in order to write fifth. If you want to write fifth flush, you have to have three different Fs. But the author says, no, the creation is like not like this. Every being, F, if you look at F, you will find the whole information of the paragraph written in it. It symbolizes that when you look at each being of the universe, you will see that each being really declares in its existence, demonstrates in its existence the qualities of the creator of the whole universe in it. You say, in order to create one man, one person, the creator must be able to have power, such a power that it must be the creator of the universe, such a knowledge that it must be the creator of the universe. Everything is arranged within a knowledge. If someone didn't know how the galaxies are, he wouldn't be able to create by intelligence to communicate with the existence of the galaxies and make sense of it after I learned it, which is amazing. You are that old ancestor, that old-fashioned way is called typeset. Yeah, each letter has to be individually placed in the frame of the page. Yeah, exactly. This typeset, I didn't know it is called typeset. So this typeset, every individual letter has its own quality only as F. But the universe is not like this. F, the quality, if you study the existence of F, you will see that the one who made F must be the one who wrote the whole book. Because all the qualities manifested in the whole book, the whole book is manifested in the existence of F. Whereas in this typeset, F it represents only as F. That's it. Nothing else. Only the combination of it makes a sentence or a word or a paragraph. Combination of individual beings. Universe is so much connected within each other. Every single being demonstrating the creator's qualities. I think we got the message here.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's go, I think, similarly.
Similarly,
Yeah.
if you say the book of the universe is the writing of the pen of power of the eternally besought one, and the missive of the single and unique one, you travel a reasonable road, so easy as to be necessary.
Yeah. Reasoning, you travel a reasonable road means you use your reasoning. Yep.
But if you attribute it to nature and causes, you travel a road so difficult as to be impossible, and so full of superstition and delusion as to be unacceptable. For then there would have to be present in every bit of earth and every drop of water, in every piece of air, millions of metal printing presses, and innumerable immaterial factories, which could fashion and form the countless numbers of flowering and fruit-bearing plants. Otherwise, one has to accept that they possess all-encompassing knowledge and power over all things, so that they could be the true source of those creatures.
Yeah, each being, for example, my particles must know the universe and the orderly creation of the universe so that it will locate itself with these qualities and exist and work there. They have to have this power. There are only two ways. Either they are made by the creator of the universe, or they themselves each of them has a absolute power, absolute knowledge, absolute wisdom.
For every piece of earth, water, and air can be the source of most plants. However, plants, whether flowering or fruit-bearing, are formed in such well-ordered and balanced fashion and are so distinctive and different from one another that a different immaterial factory or different printing press would be necessary for each. That means if nature ceases being a pattern and becomes the source, it necessitates that everything contains the machines to make everything else. Nature worship is therefore based on an idea so superstitious that even those who subscribe to it are ashamed of it. See the infinitely delirious unreason of the misguided, who suppose themselves to be intelligent, and take a lesson.
A bit heavy language, but really unreasonable. Yeah. Yeah. But what they say, atom exists by itself. I mean, it is really deserves this language.
Okay, then in short, and then this will conclude the fifth flash. In short, all the letters of a book describe themselves to the extent of a letter and point to their own existence in one way, while they describe their writer with 10 words and show him in many ways. For example, the one who wrote me has fine handwriting. His ink is red, and so on.
Now, what he's doing here, now, two ways of looking at the things. For example, I am looking at S here. When I look at it, I say it is letter S. That is one way of looking at it. This is letter S, symbolizes S in English alphabet. Okay. Another way of looking at it, the one who wrote it, now of course this is printed, but let's say handwriting. The one who wrote it must know this character, the meaning of this letter, and he knows that it is going to be a part of the word short, and he must know that it is going to be used in this word in order to introduce the following paragraph. Accordingly, he will make a meaningful introduction in short by employing S. So that is why in the existence of S, we can see, yeah, it is an S, it is a letter. Another way is it demonstrates that it is writer, it is scribe, knows that it is going to introduce this paragraph and knows that this paragraph will include in it the information of the previously extended explanation of the subject. It is just a summary of it. That's why it must be a part of the word short, because it is going to explain in a short way of previous sections. So there are two ways of looking at the letters. This is S, one way. The other one is it demonstrates that it is author knows how to write, has the power to write, and knows how to what it is, where it is going to be employed, and knows the function of it, which kind of job it is going to do, accordingly, rightly puts it there. So looking at S as this sentence said, the one who wrote me, every being, the one who created me has, for example, fine measuring, creating orderly, wisely, demonstrating his knowledge, his mercy, demonstrating his quality to create everything with measurement, with beauty, with design, with purpose. I can look at myself in two ways. Either reading the qualities manifested in my existence or saying that this is accumulated particles and made up out of cells, and the cells happen to be alive. Happen to be, I don't know how, what is life, I don't know, but it is alive. So they believe because of the sign my body is moving, I have life, but they don't see life. But my existence is meaningful, but they don't see meaning. They see only cell and particles. That is the contradiction what the materialist mind declares. Okay. Any question? Any concern? Otherwise, let's finish the paragraph, Michelle.
Okay. In just the same way, all the letters of the mighty book of the universe point to themselves to the extent of their own size and physical beings, but describe the names of the pre-eternal inscriber like odes, and testify to the one they signify, and point to his names with fingers to the numbers of their attributes. This means that even if one denies both oneself and the universe, like the foolish sophists, one still should not deny the all-glorious Maker.
Yeah, he says it in another way. The same author says it in another way, in another place. Even you may say, I ignore the universe, but you cannot ignore what the universe is manifesting. So if universe exists, if any being exists in the universe, its creator must exist. And that is no other way of explaining the universe. Thank you. I think the time is up. Would you say that it is a good time to stop here?
Yes, because the next week we'll start with the 6th flash. So this is a great place to stop.
Yeah, inshallah. Yeah. Okay, let's close the session if there is no other comment or questions from our friends. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم وآخر دعواهم أن الحمد لله رب العالمين بحرمة سر سورة الفاتحة.